me turn off the air conditioning. Hi everybody, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm really looking forward to guiding you through today's yin yoga experience. It's Friday. I have a brand new yoga mat. It's Friday. Also, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling a little stressed from the short week, just trying to get all of the responsibilities in, and I maybe slept a little funny last night. So today's class is going to have a lot of total body openers. We're going to open up our chest and our back, so we got a little bit of hip opening. We're even going to do some stretches for the ankles and the toes. I recommend having some water nearby. There won't be any specific water breaks, but as always, please treat yourself kindly and take that sip of water if you need to. We're going to start off in just about 2 minutes in child's pose. So coming right into that relaxation. However, if you're here a little early, find any sort of movement that feels good for you. Start to just slow things down, really slow your breath down. I'm gonna go brush my teeth real fast. We'll do this. Getting all my timers together. All right. It's 11:15, y'all. That means it's yin time. So, once again, I encourage you to have a block nearby so that you can use any sort of props that you want. If you don't happen to have a yoga block at home, but you have a towel, or maybe you have a meditation cushion, just have something nearby to use to help you get into some of these postures. Maybe you even want to use a prop. As we start right now in child's pose. So feel free to open your knees as wide as you want to, or keep them narrow if you're looking for a little more stimulation of your belly. Take your time, relax your glutes back towards your heels, and if it feels right for you, you can walk your hands forward. If that feels like too much of a stress or strain in your shoulders, or like you won't be able to just keep those arms forward without continuing fidgeting, I want you to take a bend of your elbows, as generous of a bend of your elbows as you need, because the whole goal for today is to come into as much stillness as possible. Okay. Great, so we've got just over 1 minute left right here to be in some sort of a child's pose that works for you. Do a total body scan and just check in with yourself and see if you can be aware of and already start to bring some relaxation to any areas that are tense or tight. So as soon as we came into this child's pose, I noticed that I could really use my exhale to lengthen and expand the space in my lower back a little bit more.
to breathe in and be aware of the tension and to exhale and create more room for movement all throughout the spine. Throughout today's class, I really encourage you to use your breath, to take your inhale, to be aware of how you're feeling, and to use your exhale to let go of any thoughts, emotions, and tension that does not serve your body. And sometimes it takes some time to really figure out what that means or what it looks like for you today. But if you notice that your shoulders are creeping up towards your ears, or maybe you're just feeling really guarded, do your best to create some relaxation. We're going to come next into puppy pose. So lifting your glutes away from your heels. Ideally, we're stacking our hips on top of our knees. And then you can walk your hands forward. That's going to bring a big stretch into your chest and your upper back. So you might want to take a block and place a block underneath of your chest in whichever direction feels supportive for you. If you don't happen to have a block, you can always fold your arms. Take out a little bit of the stress that's happening towards your upper body. We got 2 minutes right here in this puppy pose. So there might be some involuntary shaking, trembling, or twitching, and that's okay. We're hanging out in postures for a little longer than you might be used to create new connections and openings. So you might feel a little bit of buzzing throughout your body, some trembling. Anything that happens that you are not in control of is great, but if you find that you keep wiggling your fingers or shaking your hips, I want you to take a couple steps back from wherever you might be in the posture and find where you can just be still. Come back to your breath. Notice if your thoughts are drifting to other responsibilities, fears. Because right now, your priority is just your stillness and your breath. And using your exhale to let go. Awesome. On your next exhale, we're going to press ourselves up into tabletop. So go ahead and walk your hands in. Maybe you even walk your knees in because you open them a little wider for your original child's pose. And we're going to do some cat-cow, but we're going to switch it up from usual and do cat-cow with flipped wrists. So instead of your fingers pointing towards the top of your mat, I want you to turn your hands around. Big stretch towards the inner arm and into the wrist. Maybe you even shorten your stance a little bit so you can take a little bend of your elbows so it doesn't feel too tight. And we're just going to cat-cow from here. So still working to press into your hands, palms, looking towards your knees and your chest. And as you change your breath, with control, pulling your chest forward towards your biceps or maybe triceps right now, getting that arch in your back and looking up towards the ceiling. This is your yoga practice, so if you want to get some stretches towards the sides of the body, carefully looking over one shoulder, carefully looking over the other. Try it in both directions. Being right there in cow and getting that shoulder stretch with this flipped wrist got right into the true soreness that's happening in my upper back, where I think I slept with one too many pillows, because I currently sleep with like 9 pillows. All right, just a couple breaths left here, and we're going to release ourselves back down to the floor. Next up, we're going to go for some bow tie. So turn your hands back around. Maybe even you sit down on your heels for a moment. You can shake it out, shake out any tension that built up in those wrists. Open and close your fists, get the blood flowing again. We are going to cut off a little circulation towards our extremities, because next up is bow tie. So we're going to be laying down on the ground, palms facing up towards the ceiling, crossing our arms underneath of us. And you are in charge of how deep you're crossing. You might want to bring your block to the party, because it's going to be hard to get that head down to the floor, and you still need to relax. Your choice of which arm you're going to cross underneath first. We got time to get them both. We got 2 minutes right here, and they start right now. So we're getting some separation of those shoulder blades here. I want you to relax through your toes and your heels. You can allow your chin to tuck towards your chest. Feel free to close your eyes to really be in the moment here, or focusing on that one spot. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. Right now is just about your stillness. Inhaling in awareness. Exhaling out expectation. Inhaling in your worth. Exhaling out your stress and tension. You made this time for yourself. So take these small steps and little efforts to enjoy it as much as possible. Even if the stretch or the asana that we're in is uncomfortable, tune back in towards your breath and find the comfort right there. Know that it's almost over. We got a variety of short postures today. On your next exhale, carefully begin to uncross your arms. Maybe you roll to one side to help carefully release. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose. Oh, thanks for the sunflower seed. So bringing your elbows down towards the floor. If having your elbows on the floor is a little too much in that lower back, explore opening your arms a little bit wider, bringing your chest towards the floor. If it's still too much to keep your head lifted, whether you're using a prop or not, you can cross one hand over the other and place your forehead on the floor, hanging out an alligator instead of Sphinx. It feels good. I'm going to hang out here. We got 2 minutes. I think that was 2 minutes. So peaceful. Madly lost track of time while counting the length of my breath. So let's go ahead and come into bow tie on the opposite side. Hopefully you remember which arm you had underneath the first time. Maybe you're like me and you don't entirely remember. You know what? We're just going to do it again. Oh, this feels different. So we got just over 2 minutes right here in our second bow tie. Palms facing up towards the ceiling, receiving that energy. Relax as much as you can through the lower half of your body. And let go of worrying about whether you've got the opposite arm on top or not this time. Remember, if at any point during today's practice your stretch goes from being noticeable, because you should feel whatever you're doing, to being painful, that's when you can take a moment to carefully come out just a little bit, to rework yourself into just a place that you can continue to hang out. Whatever that looks like for you today is okay. It's just your practice. It's not perfect. It doesn't need to be. Every day is different. Every day our bodies are different. And just honoring and bringing to the mat whatever it is that you can do today. And I promise you that whatever it is enough. Be kind to yourself. Use your breath to let go physically of the stress that you're holding on to by tensing your muscles. Emotionally, by creating this time and space for yourself and the reminder that you're worth it. And mentally, by using that exhale and blowing out all of the feelings you don't need. All right, let's come back into Sphinx. Take your time. Carefully come back into Sphinx. Maybe as you're a little bit more open, the traditional Sphinx with elbows underneath of shoulders feels better for you. You can, again, always open those arms out a little bit wider. We got a total of 2 minutes here. I'm going to get us through minute number 1. And then if you want more of a stretch on your lower back, option to press up into seal is coming your way. So we're working to keep our belly button towards the mat, finding some flexion through that mid and upper back, maybe a little pressure even happening at that low back. If you want to lift yourself up, still working to keep that belly button down towards the mat, hips down towards the mat, a little bit more engagement through the upper back, shoulders. You can press yourself up into seal. Maybe you need to walk those hands a little forward. Maybe you can bring them in. If you want, you can even bend those knees, look up, really feel that pressure build in your lower back. If you're doing a 6-second inhale, exhale, we got just over 2 breaths left. And on your next exhale, release yourself back down to the mat. If you're not already an alligator, place one hand over the other, bend your knees and windshield wipe them. Ooh, that feels great. All right, let's come on back up into tabletop. We've got 1 minute of cat-cow, this time just doing a traditional cat-cow. So palms, fingers are on the mat, fingertips face forward. Take a moment before you start to move. Look at your knees. Are they in one line? Are your hands, palms in one line? Set yourself up for success. And then enjoy the cat-cow. Oh my gosh, the stretches that feel right for you. Get out those spookies right now. Enjoy this movement because then we're coming back to that stillness. And we're going to do it in pigeon. If you know that regular pigeon is too much for you, then you can always lay down on your back, come into a figure four stretch, a reclined pigeon. Otherwise, however you want to bring your right leg forward. Let's start with the right leg so that we're stimulating the right side of the belly just a little bit as well. If you're watching me live, it's going to look like my right leg. And if you're watching me on YouTube, it's going to look like my left leg. But I promise, it's my right. All right. So you can come into this one however you want. Maybe you just bring your leg forward. Oh, maybe get that extra stretch of that low back of those shoulders coming into down dog. You can lift your right leg up. Ooh, little hip opener. Draw that knee forward and release it down to the mat. Then I wiggle the left toe back. But remember, we're not trying to get that front leg glute on the floor. You're working to get your extended leg hip towards the mat. You can have your hands down on the floor in front of you. If it still feels really far, you can have your hands up on a block. If you're feeling a little bit more open, you can release yourself down towards the mat. Oh my gosh, we got 2 minutes left right here. Really think about keeping those hips squared. So once again, we're not rolling towards either side's glute. Oh my gosh. Really feeling this big time throughout my right glute, the right hamstring. Just relaxing into the stretch. That left hip as well. Take the tension out of your shoulders and your head. All right, we're gonna carefully come out. So if you're all the way down to the floor, bring your hands, palms back down to the floor. Lift yourself up and then sit back onto your glutes. Go ahead, bend your knees. Take a moment, windshield wipe them. Big stretch is happening here. We're gonna just roll ourselves over into the same stretch on the opposite side. Yay, so bring in your left leg forward this time. Doesn't matter how parallel your shin is towards the top of the mat. If you're really tight, your heel might be all the way towards your right hip. And remember, it's that right hip that we're working to bring closer towards the mat as opposed to our left glute. So floating in the air, use any prop that you want or need to help you stay here. Fred, chill out. Ladybird, we can share this space. And check in with your shoulders. Take the tension out of your shoulders. 2 minutes right here, right now. Hi, bird. Enjoy any involuntary twitches, trembles, and shakes you might be feeling. I know that I'm getting some spasms through the lower half of my body, which is great. And I also know that I continue to bring the tension back into my shoulders and into my glutes. So it's a real effort every exhale to come back into that relaxed breath, mind, and body as much as I can. I hope that you are doing the same. Keep those long, slow breaths. We've got about 4 till we get to change. And on your next exhale, let's roll back onto our glutes once more. You can bend your knees, keep those feet wide, place the soles towards the floor, and just windshield wipe through your legs. Feel free to hold for an extra second anywhere that feels right for you. Ooh. Next up, we're going to go for, oh yay, we get to come back onto our bellies before we get some more leg stretches. So opening up the chest and shoulders once again, we're going to go for a 90-degree arm and a little broken wing. Okay. Oh my gosh, my shoulder's so tight. Okay. We're releasing ourselves down towards the mat. Take your time, move with intention. I'm going to start with my left arm out to the side at a 90-degree angle. So my elbow is in line with my shoulder as much as I possibly feel that I can do that. I'm going to bring my right hand close towards my chest. Releasing my head towards the floor. Rolling over to the side. Oh my gosh. Let's do the opposite side so I can talk to you. Rolling over to the side. You might not be able to roll over too much in this one. So maybe it's just a matter of stretching your top leg towards the back. I'm going to bring a prop to the party so I have something that I can relax my foot on while being in this 90-degree broken wing. It is a lot of stretch, so maybe you don't even separate those legs. Ooh. I said we were going to do 3 minutes on each side, but I think we're just going to go for 2. If this is too much in your shoulder of your back arm, roll onto your belly a little bit more. You don't need to be all the way on your side. You're doing what works for your body in this moment, right now, today. If it feels like way too much, this posture is a lot easier if you do the broken arm or wing with a straight arm instead of a bent arm. So we got our last minute right here. If you find that you're fidgeting and too uncomfortable, straighten that arm out behind you and enjoy yourself. On your next exhale, carefully roll onto your belly. Switch your head and let's come into our 90-degree broken wing on the opposite side. This is my tight side. On your exhale, roll onto your belly again once more. Feel free to put your forehead down, windshield wipe out any tension that came back to your lower back. Let's bring some stretches for the end of class towards that lower body. So press yourself up into tabletop. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. We got big toe stretch. Coming right up next. You might even want to walk your knee a little closer towards your elbow and then drag your foot back to get as much of those toes tucked under. Take your time and start to walk yourself back towards hips on top of heels. This is a big intense stretch, so maybe you're going to hang out right here. Maybe you don't want to go any further. Maybe you can lift yourself up. We're going to go for one more minute right here, and whatever version of a big toe stretch works for you and your body today. I know it's intense. Relax your shoulders.
if you set yourself up. On your exhale, bring your hands back to the floor. Untuck your toes. Ooh, go ahead, tap your feet towards the floor. Great, next up we're gonna go for a broken shoelace with zipper toes. So either crossing your legs and sitting back or shifting your knees towards the side. We're gonna bring our legs in front of us. Oof. Feels so good. Okay, with those legs nice and straight in front of you, let's start with that right leg once again. We're going for like a half shoelace. Oh, wait, no. I mean, it's kind of like a half lotus, honestly. So we're gonna take one leg and cross it over the other. Almost as if we were working our way into double pigeon, but 1 foot at a time. If you're feeling really flexible and you can bring the sole of your foot a little closer towards your hip, you're just gonna get a greater stretch throughout the right leg. And then let's get some zipper toes in. Hard for me because my feet are webbed because I'm amazing. But work to, hold hands with yourself on your foot. You know, you're so sweet. You're so sweet to yourself, holding your own little foot hand. Feel free to use your other hand to help you feel supported in this stretch. Try to take that rounding out of your back. So a gentle hinge forward of the hips, pulling your chest forward, keeping those shoulders down and engaged towards each other for a nice long flat back. If you're sitting here right now and you can't stop fidgeting and the problem is your low back or too much tension on the back of your lengthened leg, I want you to use a prop and sit yourself up on the prop and still do the exact same thing that we're doing. You're worth it. There's 2 minutes, there's like a minute and a half left on this side. So find what feels right. So good. On your next exhale, carefully release that little bind you created with your fingers between your toes, spacing those toes out. Send your right leg forward to meet with your left. Maybe even bring your hands behind you. Ooh, shake it out. That was a lot of stretch happening all throughout the right leg. Take your time. Let's come into the same thing on the left side. So just because you needed a block on the right side does not necessarily mean that the left side is as tight. Ooh, or maybe it is, who knows. Maybe you, remember, depending on how tight your hip flexors are, you might be having trouble releasing this knee down towards the floor, and that's okay too. Just doing the best that you can with the body you have today. Hold your own foot hands, give yourself some love right here. See how close you can get to the webbing of both your hand and your foot. Find that gentle little forward hinge. It's going to help you to open up that hip.
and this foot on top of my thigh is giving me a little self-myofascial release. Make sure you're not pressing the ankle bone, so I don't have that ankle bone jamming into my thigh. I have the outside of my foot making it happen. Feeling a little tighter on this side, and that's okay. We're coming back to the stillness. I'm gonna bring a block to the party. Oh, it's great. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot more involuntary trembling and shaking on the second side of the posture. Just go with it. Keep breathing. Just letting you know in case you're feeling it too, so you know that it's natural, normal. Not something to be worried about. All right, take your time, carefully release your little hand holding with your foot. Send your left leg out to meet with your right. You can bring those hands behind you. You can shake those shoulders out. You can shake your legs out, and then let's fold our knees. Bring those knees forward. We're coming back up into a kneeling position. We got our last two postures, starting with a nice big ankle stretch. So once again, walking those hands back behind you. This might already be a really big stretch on those ankles. Pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. If it feels right, we're going to lift one knee up, release it down, and then lift the other knee up. One knee might be able to lift a little bit higher than the other, especially if you've had some past ankle injuries. Just work in the range of motion that feels good for you. Or just pressing the tops of the feet down, pressing the tops of the knees down, and you can be enjoying this big quad stretch instead of really focusing on that ankle stretch. Great. Go ahead, lift yourself, walk yourself forward. We're going to come onto our backs and we're going to use our props. Once again, if you have them with you, we got supported fish pose as our closer today. I'm going to take a meditation cushion, place it back there for my head, and I have a block that's going to go at your mid-back. So the point of this fish pose is to have this chest lifted, a little stimulation into the shoulders. And I like having this pillow behind my head because for me it's a little too much to stretch all the way back and work to get that head to the floor. And we're here to relax. You can have your legs straight. You can have your knees gently bent. I like to have my legs, poppity pop, open, to open those hips once more. So we're finishing here with a heart opener, a great opportunity to really let go, release any emotions. Heart openers, if you're not used to them, are a form of back bends. We do so many forward reaches throughout the day, whether you're dropping something or typing, but the number of times that we truly open up our hearts and reach or lean back are much less. So if you find that you feel a little weird or dizzy from this heart opener, if you feel super overwhelmed with emotions, I want you to know that those feelings, especially as a beginner, are all very normal. Congratulations, lucky you, if they were easily accessed. If you are feeling any of those deep changes or stimulations, feel free to come out of this supported fish pose. We're going to meet you there in just a moment to just lay on our backs for a savasana. So yes, I'm encouraging you to hang out for slightly more than 45 minutes because I know that you're worth it, even if you just hang out for 1 extra minute today. But if you have 3 or 5 extra minutes that you can be in a true final savasana, great. And if this is your final savasana, that is also okay. I will be honest that is the time that we have for class today. If you're going to come off of this block, gently roll over to one side, remove it from underneath of you, and find yourself on your back for a traditional savasana. If that lower back hurts, consider tenting those knees, taking a slight tilt of that pelvis to get as much of your lower back sacrum relaxed on the mat as you can. And stay here, make sure that heart rate comes back down to normal before you rush or race away from your mat. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I said or that we did together today, I hope that you will please reach out till we see each other again. Think good thoughts, eat good foods, speak good words, do good deeds, and take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I thank you so much for coming and joining me. Know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. Continue to let it shine. Have a great day, y'all. I think I said that. Namaste.